With that, the trial for the fifth game ended. The detective, Furuta Erika, accused the culprit, Ushiromiya Natsuhi. There are 3 riddles that the detective must explain. The first is the whodunit. Who is the culprit? As previously stated, it's Ushiromiya Natsuhi. The second is the howdunit. How did they carry out the crime? During the hour between midnight on October 4th, 1986 and 1 a.m. the next day, Ushiromiya Natsuhi went to the cousin's room on the 2nd floor of the guest house and the servant waiting room on the 1st floor of the mansion. There she carried out the murders. It was only possible for the crime to have taken place during that hour, and for that 1 hour, alibis have been proven for all characters except Natsuhi. From the sky, a massive red longsword, even greater in size than the one Delanor held, came crashing down like a thunderbolt. That is such an insane fucking CG, I love it. Piercing through Battler's heart and pinning him in place while he stood. In that instant, Beatrice became a golden splash and faded away. And her former minions disappeared as well. As the heartless witches looked down at the cathedral center, laughing coldly, all that remained was Battler with the red longsword sticking through him, and Delanor. Battler blew bubbles of blood, closed his eyes slowly, and died. Delanor stared on in silence, then turned on her heels when she saw his life leave him. After that, all that remained was the corpse of this sorrowful man, pierced by the sword that acted as a massive red grave marker, lit by the faint glow let in from the cathedral skylight. Holy shit. Is that where credits roll? And then I have to wait for the tea party? Or is Erika actually gonna finish her shit here? Okay, she is. And then there's the third riddle the detective must uncover. The final riddle. The why done it. Why did they commit the crime? The motive. In third-rate mysteries, there's no need to uncover this. After all, even if you don't expose the motive, the culprit will just confess it when all's said and done. However, Furuta Erika was first-rate, so she would expose even this. Natsuhi was being confined in the parlor, under everyone's watchful gazes. Then Erika made use of everyone to diligently and persistently search all places, even Natsuhi's room, for clues about her motive.
さて、お集まりのこのような恐ろしい殺人に、何が後ろ宮探偵フルドエリカの調査により、その輪郭それをここにご報告させていただきたいと思います。
Everyone remained silent, urging her to continue. Erika tossed some of Natsuhi's possessions that had been confiscated onto the table.
まずこれらは夏日さんの部屋か近年ではほとんど書かれていませんが、後宮家に籍を入れたばかりの頃については、これらの多くは鍵付きの日記帳に封じ事件の全貌を暴くためにこれらの鍵を全て破壊させて人でなし人の日記を読むだって。
ならあんたは何よ。お前ごときにプライバシーなんてあるわけないでしょ。
この日記帳から浮かび上がった夏日さんはクラウスさんと特殊な事情でご結婚なされたらしいということ。ここにいらっしゃる皆さんは私よりご存知なのでは。夏日さん、クラウスさんご夫婦は恋愛結婚でもお見合い結婚でもありません。いわば人質のような結婚でした。
I knew there was something more to it though.
そのようなことはこの赤い日記帳の24ページに以下の記述があります。私は後宮家に嫁という名で軟禁でも私が人質となることで夏日さん、あなたは自分が人質であったことを熊沢さんは夏日さんがここに来られた当初からお世話をしています。当時のことを話してくださいませんか。
そうです。私にそうこぼされたことも奥様のご結婚についての事情を知るのは今は私と南條先生くらいのものでしょうか。
ですが当時は金蔵さんが縦横無尽に活躍する黄金金蔵さんはあらゆる敵を打ち倒し経済力を拡大していったのです。 夏日さんの家もそんな敵の一つでした。
As though the time to talk had suddenly come at hand, Kumasawa and Nanjo openly delved into territory that should never have been touched upon again. This was concerning the period during which Kinzo was most feared for his ferocity. It has been said that though Kinzo had many assets and connections, he held a grudge after being looked down upon by members in the elite as being an upstart. Because of this, apparently, Kinzo wanted to find Kraus a wife from a noble family and use this to raise the Uchiramiya family's status. Then he overcame Natsuhi's family in a financial struggle and proposed that a marriage be performed as a method of reconciliation. And the person he picked was Natsuhi. Natsuhi had been raised to be clean and pure in a family of Shinto priests, making her a true noble lady. By choosing her, not only did Kinzo cause them the worst possible humiliation, he also won what he considered to be a nice trophy. So that marriage proposal was humiliating to Natsuhi from the very beginning.
この辺りの経緯については今熊沢さんと南條先生日記帳に記されている内容が合致します。以上から夏日さんは後宮夏日を名乗る激しい憎悪を持っていたことですか？夏日さん、それはお認めになりますか？
All of the cold gazes turned to face Natsuhi.
確かに私は愛のない結婚を強要された花嫁です。夫は私の事情を理解し、同時夫だけは私の理解者だったのです。
なるほど、それは一理あります。確かにあなたの日記にはクラウスさんがあなたの事情を知って、
Okay.
気遣ってくれる描写が、しかしあなたはそれをこちらの日記帳の47ページ、むしろ気持ちが悪いと以下朗読します。クラウスの気遣いはむしろ私を惨めに、そうして私を恥ずかしめているの。以上から夏日さんがそんな気遣いを見せていた夫を嫌悪していたことが伺えます。
待ちなさい。確かに最初はそうまだ日々を不安に過ごす私、邪推してそう記してしまったこともあったか。私はやがてそんな夫の気遣いに気づいて、その
記述は日記帳のどこにも登場しません。
日記にさえ秘められた気持ちというものもあります。
あらゆる証拠品と証言からあなたが夫に激しい嫌悪を持つ、そして逆にあなたがおっしゃるようなやがて受け入れるようになっていったことを示す証拠は存在しません。
私は
その発言を赤き真実に昇華させる証拠、証言の
愛を語るにも証拠がいるというのですか？
赤き真実以外は赤くない発言は何の証拠にもならない。何の信用もできない。赤くない文字は全て私を欺くための偽りで、愛してる？白い文字で愛を語られて赤くない言葉なんてこの世で信じられるのは赤き真実とそれを得るために主に捧げる真実を語れぬ赤き真実なき人間に愛も心も真実も語る資格なんてない。知ってました。男はあなたたち女が思う。男は女の愛しているなんて本気で
かわいそうな人、本当に人を愛したことがないの。
探偵に恋愛は不要です。恋愛という単語など殺人動機を示す以外で使用した覚えが
あなたが何と言おうと私が愚痴ばかりを日記に記していたことは、しかし私は夫に心を捧げていました。それはたとえ証拠で示せなくても
却下します。往生際が悪いですよ。証拠と証言からあなたが後宮家も全て憎悪していたことはもはや明白なのですから。
そうよ、私は何度も聞いてるわよ。あなただって秀吉さんの陰口を口にされた主人を殺し、何よその口の利き。死になさいよ。死んで主人に詫びてきなさいよ。
乱暴はやめてください。エヴァ、今は私が犯人を追及、あなたのものではありません。
Ava, sit the fuck down. I got this shit.
彼女は数年を経て表向きは生活に馴染んだように見えました。実際は心の中に強い、そんな彼女の中にいつか復讐したいと思う気持ちが芽生えたとして。
勝手なことを言わないで。
Each time Erika read Natsuhi's diaries, one after another, she exposed more of Natsuhi's emotions during those painful days. Natsuhi hadn't written them to leave those words behind. She had written them to forget those memories and seal them away. That's why she had written down her feelings during those painful days. Locked them up and sealed them away for all eternity. However, Erika claimed that these were Natsuhi's true hidden feelings that had been locked away and concealed. Since it had already been concluded that Natsuhi was a murderer, everyone accepted Erika's claim. By this point, the red truth wasn't even necessary to establish Natsuhi's motive. As long as the reason seemed plausible, everyone would believe it. No matter how much Natsuhi might object, no one would believe her. No one could accept the truth Natsuhi spoke of about the days she had spent loving her husband. That had been painted over by a false truth in which she hated her husband and swore revenge against him. The pen of the gods that composes the truth had been given to Erika.
だから何？あんたの事情なんて知った人殺し。
おやめなさい。私には夏日さんの気持ちもよくわかる。
いつかこういう日も来るの。おいたわしやおいたわしや。
親父のわがままな人生に振り気の毒な犠牲者の一人だとは思うぜ。
私は奥様のその心の痛みを
I'm sure you did,
存じておりました。そしてその支えになりたい力及ばずこのようなことに。
僕には愛憎の気持ちなんてわからない。
あなたにもいつかわかるわ。そしてそれは生きる目的、殺す目的にもなり得る。
Oh yeah, I'm sure you know, Kirie.
本当に夏日おばさんが犯人なのか。
ああ、それを夏日さん以外に犯人の可能性のある人がいらっしゃいまして。
おい、ふざけるなよ。なんでそんな大事なことを早く言わないんだ。
夏日さん、実はあなた以外にも犯行の可能な方が一人。あなたがどうしても犯人、その方が犯人ということになってしまう。
それは誰だ？誰なんだ？
後宮金蔵さんです。
Mm-hmm. Because they're still operating off the fact that that Kinzo like escaped out the window, right? Because that hasn't truly been exposed in this world. It's known in the whole meta world that Kinzo is dead at the start of every game, so of course they know that there. But she's saying, oh, if it must have been Kinzo then, huh? If it wasn't you, right? But of course, Natsuhi's not going to say that because she holds the man in such high respects, right? Right? Alright, go on. See where you go with this.
金蔵さんは今日の未明、3階書斎の窓からお出かけになるそうでしたね、バトラさん。夏日さんと同じ。金蔵さんにも全くアリバイがありません。実は今回の事件、金蔵さんにも犯行は可能なんです。私はてっきり今の今まですっかりそれをお詫びいたします。
She didn't look shy or apologetic in the slightest. Erika bowed in an unpleasant manner as ever. She held a grudge ever since her defeat in the study battle.
夏日さんは金蔵さんの信頼を受けてなら、夏日さんが一番よくわかっているので、この事件が実は後宮金蔵さんによる当主の
お父様を犯人呼ばわりするというのです。
ご安心を。金蔵さんが犯人ということであって、ホワイダニットを構築できるだけのあなたが金蔵さんをかばうために自らを犠牲にしたという筋書きでも近年探偵の推理さえも筋書きに組み込まれている可能性、本当に油断ならない時代に
お父様を犯人呼ばわりするなどこの私が許しません。
夏日さん、頭を冷静にして、あなたが実は金蔵さんが犯人でした。あなたの濡れ衣は晴らされ、名誉も回復されるでしょう。
In other words, by pushing the crime onto Kinzo, Natsuhi would be saved. However,
私はお父様よりその私が 濡れ衣を晴らすためだけにお父さん後宮家の名誉を自ら汚すと本気でお覚えですか？
Of course, Natsuhi knew that she wasn't the culprit, and she also knew that Kinzo wasn't. So being framed herself and pushing the blame onto Kinzo were both unacceptable, unbearable outcomes.
いいんですか？すでに散々立証しております。あなた以外のアリバイは全て証明されています。あなたが金蔵さんをやはりあなたが犯人だと特定され真実となってしまいますよ。
私を犯人だと決めつけることがあなたお好きになさればいいでしょう。私が無実であることを必ずやいつか私の無実を証明してくれます。
And if only. If it came to a choice between her and Kinzo being framed, Natsuhi would sacrifice herself. Perhaps that was her way of protecting the Shiromiya family's honor.
夏日。
チャンスをあげたのに。
Stupid woman. This future where your name will eventually be cleared doesn't exist for any of you, not for any of the pieces on this board. Natsuhi had made her decision. If they were going to call her the culprit, she would let them. She boldly rejected the thought of selling Kinzo's honor to gain a momentary truth where she wasn't the culprit. And therefore, the tale was woven with her as the culprit. In the future, if the accusations against her are proven false, this tale will probably be rewritten. However, that future will never come. I think. Truth is a fleeting thing. Even if I am a good person until my death, if some heartless person after my death overwrites the record and says I wasn't a good person, and if that is shared with everyone else, then even all the goodness in which I live my life could be overwritten easily. And so, I think that I won't live as a good person for all eternity. Interesting.
金蔵さんが犯人でないとおっしゃるな。金蔵さんに犯行が不可能であるという、そうでなくては真の意味で夏日さんを犯人だと特定できません。
Etika is probably known for a long time. Kinzo is nothing more than an illusion to make the inheritance problem more uncertain. However, it would be very hard to prove that he was an illusion. The only way to do this would be to confirm Kinzo's death. But as has been made known by the Red Truth in previous games, Kinzo died a long time ago. And in this 5th game, his corpse hasn't even appeared. In a situation like this, it wouldn't be easy to absolutely prove his death. Kinzo's death was confirmed, and practically erased that defeat in the study. It was the only way Etika had of removing the humiliation of that loss. There was something that could confirm Kinzo's death almost as certainly as real proof, and that was the confession of the culprit. It would mean having Natsuhi herself acknowledge that Kinzo no longer existed in the world. That way it would acknowledge that Etika's reasoning in the first study was correct. That loss would be painted over and it would be rewritten as Etika's victory. Battler hung suspended by Delanor's red longsword. Beato had disappeared by having her existence denied and her minions had gone too. In this cathedral that they had disappeared from, only Natsuhi and the witches convicting her remained.
あくまでも金蔵は生きてて島のどこかに残っていると。そうです。お父様はご健在。誰が何と言おうと私はそれを翻しません。
過去のゲームの赤き真実で金蔵がすでに死亡していることは。でもそれじゃあベルンの気が収まらないわけでしょ。
ええ、そうよ。完璧な勝利をだから赤で金蔵の死が決まってるから、それでチェックメ夏日の口からリザインと言わせて勝利したいのよ。
ならやってごらんなさい。お手並みを拝見させてもらうわ。
Oh God.
我が主、今こそ我らに完全なる勝利を。
無論よ、夏日。あなたは金蔵は間違いなく生きているけれど。ええ、そうです。お父様は窓よりお出に全く困った方です。ラムダ、金蔵の24時から朝までの所在について。金蔵は24時から朝まで。
そりゃそうでしょ、死体なんだから。いや、そうよね。そうで口を挟まないわ。面白そうだから続けてちょうだい。
これより金蔵という言葉を何しろ夏日は続けて赤き真実を語る。金蔵は屋敷以外の場所には。そうよね、エリカ。
はい、金蔵の姿を探し屋敷の外。しかし金蔵は発見できませんでした。
Because of the detective's authority, Etika could find all clues. Therefore, if Erika was unable to find a hint that Kinzo existed outside the mansion, it was the same as proving that Kinzo didn't exist outside the mansion. Therefore, Burncastle repeated that truth of Erika's.
金蔵は屋敷以外の場ねえ夏日なら金蔵が存在するなどこに金蔵が隠れているのか
わかりかねま何しろこの定期です。中庭へ出られた後お屋敷の雨をしのがれていたとしても何も不思議はありません。
私はこれからも同じあなたに名誉ある幸福の痩せ我慢が過ぎると本当の名誉まで
いかなる脅しにも私が
あなたは本当にいじめがいのある駒だわ。では続けるわよ。以上の理由から金蔵さんがそこでまず書斎のあった3階を徹底的に
だがどこにも隠れ3階に親父の姿は影も形
ではどこにいるんでしょう。
知りま3階にいないなら地下にでも隠れたのではありません。
地下ですね。ボイラー室、地下倉庫など怪しげな地下も全て捜索させていた。
お父様の姿なんてどこに。
繰り返します。金蔵さんはどこにいるんです。
なら1階か2階にでもいたので。
そうですね。消去法でそして1階を結果はい
いえ、お父様の姿を見つけることはできなかったわ。
繰り返し金蔵さんはどこにいたんです。
では2階に隠れお父様が隠れている場所を
本当にそう。夏日さんは金蔵さんがどこに隠れていたのか。
奥様が親方様がどこにご存知。
そんなこと。
Well, Shannon and Kano knew that Kinzo was already dead. Okay, Shannon. So they didn't have a clue how Erika would use a phantom of a person who didn't exist, according to Natsuhi.
屋敷以外の場所に3階に金蔵は地下に金蔵1階に金蔵以上から金蔵が存在しうる余地の検討。赤き真実を認める夏日。金蔵は2階のどこかまだどこに隠れてるか教えてくれないの。
何度聞かれても答えられないものは答えられま。
エリカ、それでは端から順に全ての手がかりを絶対に見落とさずいかなる隠し扉も隠し部屋もカンパで。はい、我が主。夏日さんって結構まだ話の落とし
Yeah,
どこ
okay,
ろ
shut the fuck up.
見えないんです。
Just go.
余計なことは言わなくていい。
She can't see where we're going.
さあエリカ、
Yeah, for once, listen to your master here. No need to talk more than is necessary.
全員を引き連れて捜索を始めなさい。
Erika used her detective's authority to take everyone, even Natsuhi, and go up to the second floor to search every room, starting at one end. Even for rooms that were thought to have nothing at all to do with the crime, Erika did not relax her search in the slightest. Her search was thorough in every single room as they moved through them all.
まだ金蔵さんはどこに隠れているか。
いい加減に私は知らないと何度口にすればいい。
夏日さん、このまま調べていってもきっと金蔵さん。
Of course, Kinzo doesn't exist. No matter how long the search continues, it's just a waste of time. This was known by Erika, the witch's piece, and Natsuhi, the one who knew the truth.
となると捜索はあの廊下の突きつまりあの部屋を残して全ての部屋に金蔵さんがいなかったことが証明されるとどうなると思います？
So if he really did exist inside the mansion, it had been proven that he could only exist in that room at the end. In other words, this was Hempel's Raven. Because it had been established that a living Kinzo couldn't exist anywhere except the final room at the end of the corridor, it automatically meant that a living Kinzo existed in that final room. And that room at the end of the corridor was...
突き当たりの部屋って何の部屋だっけ？
I'm to tell it was munching on a refill of popcorn.
夏日の部屋です。ラムダデルタ家。つまり金蔵は夏日の部屋以外に赤で言う必要ある？もちろん。夏日の部屋を除くすべての場所に金蔵は存在しない。というわけ残すところはこの以上により この部屋以外に
ここは私の部屋のどこにお父様がいると。
In a rage, Natsuhi unlocked the door to her room and pointed inside. Of course, Kinzo was nowhere to be seen.
どこにお父様の姿がある。ほら。
なるほど。私たちが来ることを察知して、また窓からお逃げにでもなったのでし
Kinzo
ょう
wasn't
か。
in this last room. It meant that he didn't exist anywhere. There was no living Kinzo outside the mansion. There was no living Kinzo inside the mansion. Therefore, no living Kinzo existed. However, Erika didn't make that argument. She had pointed that out herself without making a checkmate. It was because Berncastle didn't want to win by cornering Natsuhi with the red truth. She wanted to force Natsuhi to accept a humiliating resignation.
私がこれまで捜索してきたのは、金蔵さんが24時から朝まで、そしてそれも存在しませんでした。
つまり24時金蔵はある一室にこもり続けたこと、そしてそれは夏日の部屋ということで、
赤き真実によるチェ金蔵の幻という駒を夏日の部屋にまで追い詰めたと。
ねえ夏日さん、つまりあなたは朝までこの部屋、それでもあなたは金蔵さんのことを、
私が赤き真実で24時から朝までの一晩生きた金蔵は夏日の部屋を除く全ての場、その真実から夏日の部屋にしか存在しなかったと議論を進めることを許すわ。
司法取引ねえ夏日、頭の悪いあなたでももうこれが最後のチャンス。金蔵を犯人にしなさい。後宮家当主を犯罪者とし、あなたがその勇気を見せたら、当主をかばうために濡れ衣をかぶろうとした悲劇のヒロインに筋が。お父様は無実。お父様を犯罪者にすることなど
取引拒否やっちゃいなさい。
24時から朝までの生きた金蔵の存在する余地はあなたのベッドの中以外に。
Oh.
それは
Oh. Oh.
どういう意味ですか。
Oh, that's foul. Oh, that's foul. Oh, that's so foul. God damn. Like, obviously, Burn ain't gonna pull punches, but fuck, that is foul.
この部屋の徹底的なおよび厳重な科学捜、この部屋の全域で24時から朝まで、ただしあなたのベッドだけを除き、
Shocked silence dominated the room. Natsuhi completely forgot to close her open mouth.
昨夜黄金発見の前後の頃、3階窓より脱出した金蔵さんは、そしてさらに気の毒、あなたもこのベッドで就寝されていたことが判明しています。
重ねて復唱するわ。24時から朝、生きた金蔵の存在するよ。そして夏日も昨晩同じベッド。
あら、仲良しさんたちね。2人で仲
Fuck,
良く
that is foul.
枕を分けっこして眠ったわけね。
青き真実以上から後宮夏日と後宮金蔵には
Oh,
情
you
報の
are.
可能性があったと推測できる。
Oh. Oh,
男
God,
女が
that
同
is
じ
foul.
枕で一晩過ごして
They were
他
just
に何
cuddling.
を
I don't know
推
what you're
測
talking
しよ
about.
うと。怪我してやまない。
I don't know. If you search porno nowadays, that's kind of understandable. I mean, not understandable, but possible. Then again, this is the 80s where the kind of, well, I mean, whatever. Fuck you.
夏日、青き真実には赤き真実で反論。もちろん魔女でないあんたに使える。だから私が代わりに私を納得させられる証拠を示せるならね。
そんな証拠 あるわけがありま。私をどこまでグロ。おのれ。
Natsuhi tried to attack Erika, but Ava pinned her arms behind her back so she couldn't do anything.
なんという。夏日さんは後宮家の全てを乗っ取ろうと企てたのです。そのため夏日さんは体を武器に金蔵さんを籠絡したのです。
そんなことはしません。私は自分の体を夫以外に許し。
否定されたい気持ちもわかりますが、あなたが金蔵さんと密会を重ねていたことはすでに複数の関係者からの証言で明らかです。 だって昨晩だって金蔵さんの書斎で二人っきりでお休みのご挨拶を。それどころか明らかな情報の痕跡の証言も複数。そんなバカな。
誰です？誰がそんないい加減なことを。ゴーダシャノン、
ゴーダ
エヴァさんです。そんないい加減なことを言ったのは
関係者証言を受理。これは致命。
Ugh. Fucking foul.
疑いようがない。
Just foul.
ねえナツヒ、もうあんたの名誉なんて最悪のかけらを紡がれる前に金蔵はいませんでしたって言ってご。
そうよね。もう後ろ宮家なんてどうせそんなにも金蔵がいることにして遺産問題をうやむやにしたいの？
これは私がお父様にた夫の事業は必ずそれによって借金を返済するまで後ろ宮家の方、お父様の名誉、それが
死者の名誉を守ろうとは見上げた根性だわ。
死者じゃないわ。夏日の頭の中の都合のいい妄想の名誉よ。本当の金蔵は一度たりとも夏日に命じた。
As Natsuhi screamed, she fell down to her hands and knees. She no longer had any way to reject the fake truth that Burncastle and Attica had weaved.
ゲームマスターラムダデルタの名において本ゲームの勝利者がベルンカステル教であることを意義ある者は名乗りを上げよ。
Jesus. Of course there were none. All those who might have objected had been erased.
意義ある者なし。ベルン、あんたの勝ちよ。真相のかけらをあなたが紡ぎなさい。
ええ、それでは私がこれがこの悲しく間抜けな、本当は泣き笑いしながら罪を、それがお約束なんでしょ
Fucking hell. There's more? Like, it's not cutting to credits. There's more. How the fuck is there more? Jesus. I don't know what I expected there, but that was fucking foul. So foul. I'm guessing this is like an epilogue thing. Or this is the story that's accepted by the present day. After being forced into a marriage she hadn't wanted, Natsuhi developed a grudge against the Ushiromi family and was filled with a desire for revenge. From the trial synopsis, page 3. Natsuhi, also hoping to take revenge for their financial submission her parents' family had been forced into by the Ushiromias, schemed to capture the Ushiromi family's wealth. From the trial synopsis, page 4. Knowing that the wealth of the Ushiromi family was, in practical terms, under Kinzo's personal control, she initiated sexual relations to curry favor with him and managed to ensnare him. From the trial synopsis, page 7. From the Burncastle documents, page 682. To curry favor with Kinzo, Natsuhi repeatedly imitated Beatrice, the witch of Kinzo's delusions, and engaged in sexual acts. Kinzo saw his long-lost mistress Natsuhi and was easily ensnared. Furthermore, by chance, she was sometimes witnessed in this guise by the servants, and this became part of the foundation for the legend of the witch. From the trial synopsis, page 8. From presented evidence, number 17. From the Burncastle docs, page 802. However, late at night on October 4th, 1986, Ushiromi Battler discovered the hidden gold. The relatives were in an uproar and decided that Battler should succeed the headship, so Natsuhi planned the crime. She murdered the children in the so-called cousin room and tried to frame Battler for the crime. Furthermore, Genji was murdered for opposing the scheme. Later on, Hideyoshi was also murdered. From this point on, she displayed the strong intent to indiscriminately murder all those involved. From the trial synopsis, page 27. From supplemental materials B, page 61. From the Burncastle docs, page 1103. The following outlines the details of the crime. Midnight, October 4th, 1986. Natsuhi decided to commit the crime. She asked Genji to assist her, but she was refused, so she murdered him. She then murdered her husband Kraus in his own room. From the trial synopsis, page 40. From supplemental materials S, page 8. From the Burncastle docs, page 1105. From GC internal docs, General Affairs A09-9974. Afterwards, she went to the so-called cousin room on the second floor of the guest house, waited for Rosa to join the rest, and killed George, Jessica, Maria, and Rosa. She damaged the necks of the corpses. Afterwards, because there were people in the lounge on the first floor, she waited in an empty room on the second floor. She hid in this empty room until the people in the lounge dispersed and went to bed. From the trial synopsis, page 41. From Supplemental Material S, page 10. From the Burncastle Docs, page 1131. From GC Internal Docs, General Affairs A099974. The people in the lounge dispersed just after 3 a.m. Natsuhi left the empty room and escaped from the guest house. She returned to her personal room, where she met up with Kinzo, who had been hiding there. She stayed there until morning. Kinzo left the room early the next morning and concealed himself somewhere near the guest house. From the trial synopsis, page 41. From Supplemental Materials S, page 29. From the Burncastle Docs, page 1200. From GC Internal Docs, General Affairs A09, number 9974. Afterwards, Kinzo saw his chance and carried off the corpses of the 6 victims one by one, hiding them. Unfortunately, these hidden corpses have not been found. From the trial synopsis, page 42. From Supplemental Materials S, page 37. From GC Internal Docs, General Affairs A09, number 9974. Natsuhi, who had failed in her scheme to cast suspicion on Badler, changed her plan to include the murder of all present. From the trial synopsis, page 58. From Supplemental Materials T, page 19. From Burncastle Docs, page 1348. From GC Internal Docs, General Affairs A09, number 9974. Predicting that one of those present would eventually want to take a rest in a private room, Natsuhi concealed herself inside a closet in one of the guest rooms. At about 1 p.m., she murdered Hideyoshi after he entered that room. From the trial synopsis, page 61. From Supplemental Materials T, page 26. From GC Internal Docs, General Affairs A09, number 9974. From the time the others became aware of the incident to the time that they carried Hideyoshi's corpse out, Natsuhi once again concealed herself in the closet. Furthermore, as proof of this, a button from Natsuhi's clothes was found in the closet. Of course it was. Afterwards, she left the closet and tried to return to her room. However, Furuta Erika found and questioned her first, and she confessed to the crime. She didn't. From the trial synopsis, page 63. From Supplemental Materials T, page 32. From Presented Evidence, number 26. From the Burncastle Docs, page 1348. From the Lambda Delta Docs, line 7. From GC Internal Docs, General Affairs A09, number 9974. From GC Internal Docs, first subsection U99, number 0107. From GC Official Notice, number 0172. 4434. God damn it, they were hiding numbers from me. Sons of bitches. GC Official Notice, number 0172. 4434. Due to the result of illusion trial number 0147-007982, midnight, October 5th, 1986, we announce that the following has been determined. That Ushirome Natsuhi did admit to her crime. For 13 months following this announcement, related docs may be perused at the Great Court Legal Office's Document Management Center, first subsection. Great Court Deputy Chief, Head Inquisitor of Heresy, Delano A. Knox. And now credits? Now credits? Now, nope. Okay, I have to end this recording session here. I've gone like 2 hours over because I was so wrapped up in the whole trial thing. I'm gonna have to call it here. I have to. I have been recording for 8 hours. Okay, 7 hours and 44 minutes. Gone too far. This is the best stopping point I could find. That's another thing. I could not. There was no way I could find a stopping point and all that. I just had to keep going. This is the best place I got. I have to step away for now. But goddamn, this has been insane. I can't wait to see how this all wraps up. I can't wait to see what, the Tea Party and the question mark introduce. I can't wait to see what Badler's comeback will be, because I know there will be one. I fucking know there will. It has to happen. I just fucking know it. Alright? The comeback isn't happening in this episode. Alright? Alright, I've resigned to that fact. The comeback ain't happening in this episode. I'm thinking maybe episode 7 is where the comeback happens, because like I said earlier, like that seems to be like the fan favorite episode that everyone fucking loves. So I'm thinking like that's where the big comeback is, yeah? Because believe me, if that's where it is, I could understand the hype, because already, like, I don't know what his comeback is, but whatever the comeback is, I'm here for it. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. I'm locked and loaded. But yeah, like I said, I am going to have to end this one here for tonight. I have gone on way too long. But regardless, I will see y'all in the next recording session. So it's going to be a quick jump cut or a new video. But until then, peace. What is up, everyone, and welcome back to Umineko episode 5. In the previous recording session, my god, a lot of shit went down. Hoo boy. Where do I even begin? Normally I like to give a little recap to each recording session, mostly for my own good, so I like have a good idea of what just happened, so I know where I'm at. But my God, what went down in the last recording session, just so much. The main gist of it, the big grand trial where Natsuhi was accused of being the culprit. Obviously she wasn't, but of course Badler had no way to prove this. He got impaled by a giant ass sword. Natsuhi got accused of fucking Kinzo. Like, there's so much going on here. There's so much going on here. I don't even know where to begin. But anyway, now we've cut back to the real world, quote unquote, of this game board, where everyone's ganged up on Natsuhi, and now she's shouting about shit. So without further ado, let's keep going. As though she'd given up and decided that it'd be useless to try and talk her way out of this any longer. And Natsuhi screamed that out. It was a sad incident. I wanted to believe that, despite the pitiable circumstances that led to her marriage into the Ushiromiya family, Natsuhi just might have been able to grasp a sliver of happiness together with Uncle Kraus and Jessica. However, by Natsuhi's own doing, Uncle Kraus, and even her beloved daughter Jessica, had been heartlessly killed. Nah, man, don't believe it. It was even hard to believe that grandfather had been an accomplice and hid the corpses. However, judging by the clear testimony given by several people who knew him, grandfather's mental state for these last few years has been far from what anyone would consider normal. Perhaps possessed by a mad devotion to the mistress he had lost long ago, grandfather might truly have believed that Aunt Natsuhi was a reincarnation of Beatrice. Where is grandfather now? Like Etika had theorized, did he really believe that he could revive Beatrice by carrying out murders following the epitaph? Succumbing to Natsuhi's cajolery? Right now, is he holding some kind of disturbing ceremony with the bodies he carried away? Aww. My queen.
満足ですか？私にこう言わせたかったんでしょう。
And Natsuhi sobbed as she spoke.
これがあなたの復讐、19年前の男。
This man from 19 years ago that Natsuhi kept mentioning was supposedly someone who had caught her in some sort of trap. However, she had only mentioned that this man from 19 years ago existed, and she most certainly hadn't tried to explain what had happened 19 years ago.
きっとこの中にあの男の手先が混じっているはずです。あの男はあなたたちの誰かを通じて今のこの私を嘲笑っているでしょう。なら伝えなさい。これで気は晴れましたか。19年間あなたを災難だ痛みと苦しみは少しはようやく私をここまで追い詰めたのはそれ。
夏日さん、私たち以外に部外者は一切存在しません。意もしない人物がさも存在するように振る舞うなんて、往生際の悪い芝居はやめてください。
Etika laughed mockingly, but as Aunt Natsuhi looked at us, no, she looked at some being behind us. She hung her head and shook. Then, she confessed to her sin. Really?
私は
やっと直接的な言葉で罪を認め。
いいえ、昨日今日の事件のことではありません。19年前の殺人について告白します。
I bet. The adults all whispered together, wondering what this was about, because they had never heard about a murder case 19 years ago.
今から私は
I forgive you.
罪を許せなかったのです。
I can.
その赤ん坊。
What baby? I don't even know what you're talking about.
赤ん坊？今さら何の話ですか？
It doesn't concern you, bitch. Get out of here.
19年前のあの日、私はいつまでも跡継ぎを見守ることのできない私に施設から連れてきたという一人の赤ん坊を、それが私にどれほど女としての屈辱を与えたか想像がつきますか。
With a mix of conflicting emotions, of anger, sadness, regret, and possibly defiance, and Natsuhi confessed. Her humiliation as a woman when she was no longer expected to bear a child, and also the indescribably unpleasant feeling of being made to hold an unfamiliar baby. It caused her great sadness and rage, and before very many nights passed, it ate a hole into her heart.
そして私はここ赤ん坊を抱かせた使用人と共にバラ庭園から船着き場、私は一人の赤ん坊を連れたその使用人の女が一に私の後について回りました。
I'm digging this music.
一人にしてくれとさえ言い出せず、だから赤ん坊の泣き声から逃れられず、その日より私を苛む長き頭痛の日々の始まりにうめいていました。そして昨夜崖を望む。
Okay. Now you pushed him, didn't
眼
you?
下の岩浜にこの赤ん坊を放り捨てることで全てなかったことにできる。そんな悪魔の誘惑を、そしてそれが本当にできたらどれほどその誘惑にほんの一瞬、その時赤ん坊を抱いた使用人が大きな石を踏んだ。
Okay, no, you ain't pushing. Okay, good, 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 good. I was about to be like, oh shit, did she actually? No, okay, it was. Like, listen. Like, it's one thing. It was like, oh, this whole time, like, oh, there was this servant accidentally.
そして粗末な策に寄りかかり、その時私は危ないと言いながら肩を掴もうとしました。
But you were too late.
いえ、
No.
そんな曖昧な言い方はしません。懺悔します。告白します。私はあの時確かにその使用人の肩を両手で
Yeah, you reached for his shoulder and pushed.
強く押し飛ばしたのです。粗末な策は根元から折れ、使用人とその手に抱かれた赤ん坊眼下の岩浜へ転落していきました。その瞬間のこと鮮明に覚えているのなのに、なぜか曖昧でとても不思議な気持ちだったのを覚えています。転落したというより、まるで何もない宙に二人が音もなく飲み込まれて消えたようにさえ感じたのです。だから私は二人が岩浜に落下した音さえ聞いています。いえ、きっとでも消えたと思い込みたかったから、その聞いた音をきっと記憶から消し去ってしまったのです。
それから
私は一瞬これが夢だと信じました。あの高さですから、ちょっと身を乗り出したくらいでは眼下の二人は見えません。だから二人が落ちたことさえ、ほんの数秒前のことさえ現実のことなのかわからなくて、きっと私はここから赤ん坊が落ちればいいのにと願白チュームを見てしまったに違い、そう自らに思い込ませ、足早にバラ庭園に戻り、
Because like originally the story we were told was, or that wasn't it that Natsuhi told Beatrice and her gang, like this is what happened, was that she had told the servant to go away to take the child away, and that the servant went for a walk through the forest and ended up stumbling off the cliff And, Natsu only found out later, right? But now the truth come out. Not the servant was by Natsuhi's side the whole time. Natsuhi push her off cliff, and then go back to Rose Garden, and be like, oh, something happened? Oh no. I'm feeling some conflicting emotions, my guys.
赤ん坊は使用人に任せ、私は一人ここで休んでいたことにしました。そしてお父様に赤ん坊はどうしたのかと問われ、任せた使用人の姿が見えない騒ぎになって。
The child had apparently been here for reasons that couldn't have become known, so its existence was hushed up. And the official story was that the servant had had an accident on her own and died. Damn. Damn. Natsuhi with the 2-for-1, huh? My queen is efficient.
遺族に十分なねぎらいをしました。真相を知らない老いた夫は不幸な事故を嘆きつつもそれに納得してくれました。そしてほんの数年前、老衰で亡くなり、私は墓前で、しかし私はあの赤ん坊に謝罪する。それがあなたの目だから。私は後宮夏日は19年前に崖から突き落として殺そうとしました。でもあなたは死んでいなかった。こうして生きていた。それでもこの島へ帰ってきて、こうして復讐をされたのですね。あなたはこの19年間、母と呼ぶはずだった私に突き落とされたことを知って、どれほどの憎悪の人生を送ったのでしょう。そしてあなたは私18年間の人生をこうして全て打ち壊しました。もう私には愛した夫も、そして私には名誉もなく、こうして人殺し呼ばわりされた。いえ、本当に人殺しですものね。ええ、そうです。あなたの目論見通り、私は今や人殺しとみなされています。どうですか。復讐にはこれで十分ですか。夫と娘を殺され、人殺しの汚名を着せられ、不貞の汚名まで、こうして生き恥をかかされる私を見、あなたは満足ですか。さぞや満足でしょうね。私、家族、名誉も
この後に及んでまだ濡れ衣だと言い張るんですか。まったくあなたは本当に往生際の悪い。
聞こえていますか。19年前の呪われた赤ん坊、これで満足ですか。あなたは私から全てを奪いました。まだ何か足りないというのですか。私は許した。
ダメだな。
Oh. Battler, please. Battler, please. If there's ever been a time for you to pop off. Come on, my boy. Like I said, I need the comeback. I don't know where it's happening, but I need it. 全然ダメだぜ。
バトル、何か言いました？
Oh yeah, you did. Hit him with the Zin.
全然ダメだぜ。
Yes, my boy. That's what I want to hear.
バトラ君？
ああ、ダメだな。全然ダメだぜ。
Lifetime of the game's suspension. And first Twilight. Live at suspension. Now keep going. Now keep going. Oh. I'm honestly so glad that I ended the last recording session where I did, because like if I would have kept going like just, you know, another what, fucking 20 minutes, if I would just kept going like another 20 minutes or so, I'd have finished the actual episode, sure, but then I would have been sitting here for, you know, a week and a half or so, just wondering like, fuck, where's it gonna go? Where's it gonna go? Well, I have some vague idea of where it's gonna go, potentially. But now it's like, alright. I get to jump into the, Tea Party and question mark events, and then we're jumping into episode 6 ASAP. Oh, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be bueno. It's gonna be mwah. Like, I said it when we first heard all of the goats. Yo, props to all the goats. 5th game, End of the Golden Witch. But I said it when we first heard the caller. He sounded a lot like my boy Battler. Now, I'm still not gonna jump to conclusions, but I think you can kind of see where my mind's leading. So I'm very excited to see where our post-episode content takes us, and then where the next episode takes us. I'm very excited to see how it all goes down. Yeah. Oh boy. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Yeah. Alright, well, that's gonna be the end of this video anyway. In the next video, we'll start up the Tea Party event for episode 5. But until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.